a title fight?
I
Oh, that's a good
believe he
point.
put on.
Because to fight at like a huge calorie deficit that he would be at,
So it's only fasting for part of the day. So it doesn't mean that
Right.
you're at a calorie deficit. It just means that you can only eat for basically 12 hours of day that are the night hours. But if so, like I live where Ramadan is highly celebrated. Bro, businesses during Ramadan, most of them don't even open till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. They're just closed all day. They don't, period. They're just closed. The bakeries, the restaurants, some of the gas stations, even like, bro, they're just closed until the sun goes down. Connor J.
Yeah, I think I don't even know if they would have Leon and Bilal co-main, but I think they could do. So I think they had. Did they have two title fights for 200? I think they had two or three. Or they were.
They
I think they were
did.
supposed to have three.
They
Yeah,
did
and that
one.
and that title fight was like no Aldo and freaking Edgar. That was like the second fight on the main card, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was like really really early.
Yeah, but they
So
were also supposed
Andrew,
to have Jones and Cormier, and then Nate and Connor. Like all those would probably be fives. So I think like Leon and Bilal would maybe be like the third, like to last fight. But yeah, I think I just looked up when Leon fought not Leon when Bilal fought Gilbert. It was on May 6th.
yeah,
So
so
that
I've
was
got
like
it in front of me. He fights
yeah
right out on Ramadan all the time. May
yeah
6th, April
here's a baller.
16th, March 13th, February 13th. Like yeah, that's not going to affect him. I think that UFC 300 is bound to have more than one title fight, and I think Izzy versus anybody with Leon versus anybody underneath. Not that I think Leon is big by himself, but I think the two of them as the main and the co-main, I think that's a big card. I think a lot of people tune in to see it. So I think I'm going to bet it on both of them. I think Izzy headlines it and Leon co-head and co-mains it.
Ooh.
So is
I'm going to bet
everybody
on both.
thinking it's going to be him jumping back up to light heavyweight to fight AP again?
No, I don't
No,
think so. I don't think so.
You think he fights the
Who
winner
else
of
could it
Dricus and
be?
Strickland?
Who else would it be against?
the
I
winner of
mean,
Dracus and Strickland on a fast turnaround, which they did to Aljo, so they'll do it. Or
Chimaev.
if they're both too beat up, it'll be Chimaev, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Chimaev, like if Chimaev beats Izzy, that's 100% title shot in 85, and whoever is the winner, unless you have a rematch in Strickland and Duplessis,
No,
then
Izzy
what?
will override that. Izzy will override any rematch, anything between the two of them. I
No,
don't
but
even
if
think if it's a
Chimaev wins
5 round
though,
war.
oh shit, you know what?
Yeah, if Chimaev wins, he'll take the winner of that. He'll
Oh
take the winner
wow.
of those two.
Okay.
So, I think that it's the title eliminator fight if it's not the title fight. But Izzy has to, in my opinion, Izzy has to fight for the title at 300. Usman, and then there's a few hands up, so just pass it off, Usman.
Y'all fucking suck, and I hate every single one of y'all for even trying to talk Izzy into another fucking title fight off of coming off of a
Thank you.
loss, title,
It's not.
win, title loss. Like, fuck that. He doesn't deserve it. I know Andrew hates the word deserve, but why the fuck should he get a title fight at 185 or 205? It's not like that last fight was close at all anyways.
Dollars, man. It's about the
Yeah, I mean,
dollars.
It's
Strickland
true.
beat the brakes off of him.
Izzy doesn't is
Connor J. Oh, my bad, Usman. I didn't know you were still
no
going, bro. My
no,
bad.
I was just gonna respond to like Andrew said dollars, and it's like Izzy doesn't even sell crazy anyways. Like people tend to hate him more than they do like him, and I guess that sells to a point. But it's not like we get 800,000, 500,000 fucking pay per views when Izzy fights.
He's the second biggest draw in the sport.
Yeah, I was about to say he's always looked at as like the main headliner besides Connor. I'm obviously he's not on Connor's level, but he's always looked at as the main event.
But does
Why?
Who's
he
number
sell?
3? Is it John Jones? You think?
Huh?
Yeah,
Is like number 3. So like obviously is Connor's 1, Izzy 2 in terms
it's
of
John. Then
viewership.
it's John Jones.
Is it probably John Jones? Okay, that's what I thought.
And when Jorge was fighting, he was probably 2 or 3.
Really?
Yeah, John Jones makes a
Jorge
lot, but
that
he just
high?
doesn't fight enough.
Jorge broke 1 million.
Yeah,
Which
Jorge
one?
broke.
Was it 261 or was it
251.
just wow?
Hey, let Connor J get at it.
Yeah, just real quick. I agree with Usman. I don't think Izzy should get a title shot, even if it's against Alex or the winner of Dricus and Sean. I also use the term deserve, even though that's kind of not like how the UFC runs things. But yeah, Izzy definitely doesn't deserve a title shot. Maybe they would go with him versus Hamzat because that's just sort of like a crazy fight that people would be into. But honestly, like in terms of title fights that they can make, people would just have to be like making quick ass turnarounds to headline 300. Like there's just not a lot of people that are available right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick turnarounds. YB.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, say whatever you want, bro.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I know I didn't raise my hand, but I think like hopefully this fight is guaranteed. They've been having Alexa Grasso and Zhang Wei Li in UFC 300. Now that would be a great fight on there. Nothing's been guaranteed, but I can see that more likely to happen than Leon Edwards be in there with either Shavkat and or Bilal. So I feel hopefully that fight is going to be in 300.
Young boy, it is you now, bro. Go ahead.
I don't want to sound like Joe, but
Don't
I've
do
been saying
that.
probably for, and this is why I said it. This is why I said it was obvious, bro. I've been saying it for like 2 months that Izzy was gonna headline that card. Originally, I thought it was gonna be Pereira for the belt, but he just shucked it off, and it's gonna be Dricus or Sean. I think it'd be better if it's Dricus because they would try their best to like market it with that, that race baiting
Yeah, but
shit.
what
They
if the
would do a
winner
lot
gets
with it.
hurt?
There's
Sorry to
nothing
cut
really
you
to
off.
market with Sean. Either way, that's like
Sorry,
3 months, dude. It doesn't matter if they get hurt.
they've already
It's
tried to
January right now.
do Dricus on a title. Sorry to cut you off. They've already tried to do Dricus on a title shot on a 6-week turnaround with Izzy, and look what happened.
He got hurt, bro.
6 weeks,
All
bro.
right.
January 20th
Who's
to
that?
April is not 6 weeks.
Because
No,
I'm
but
gonna
I'm
close
saying
this one out.
They've already tried the short turnaround, and look what happened.
Oh no! Listen, they're gonna pay enough money for UFC 300. It won't matter. Brock Lesnar came in on days' notice, bro. Like you don't. This is UFC 300. Put all that you're talking about aside. Put all that camp. They will spend money for this card. The fact that Connor didn't make it on it is only surprising to me because I thought it would be within the 300 budget to get him. Like, and I'm not being funny. Usman, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking, what about? I know somebody said Zhang Wei Li versus Grasso. I was just thinking, what the fuck are we holding Zhang Wei Li on the back burner for at this time? Like, do it against Yan Xiaonan or fucking anybody at this point. It feels like she's the last time she fought was forever ago, and I honestly feel like Pantoja fucking didn't get hurt at all in that Royval fight. That they could turn something around there. I know we got Moreno and Albazi probably going as a title eliminator, but they could give it to somebody there. Like
Listen, though. Listen.
I think you were
Listen.
onto something a long time ago, Joe, when you were talking about we don't need champions on champions on champions for fucking UFC 300. And I actually feel like a lot of people on Twitter are starting to think the same way you were back then when it was like 300 is selling on its own. It's selling because it's 300. I don't think like I said, I think you were onto something, and I think Twitter's starting to catch on that we don't need 50 champions on the damn card just to make it something special.
Yeah, but here's what I gotta say. Let me. I'll articulate it this way: 800,000, 700,000, 600,000, 175,000. That Israel Adesanya in 4 years has went from a guy that sells 175,000 pay-per-views to a guy that sells 800,000 pay-per-views against fucking Jan Blachowicz. Like, come on, nobody gives a fuck about Jan Blachowicz. but he sold 800,000 against him. All their big stars are in other directions. If we could get Izzy versus Chimaev, no title fight, great. And then you could bring Dustin Poirier in, great. They don't really have anybody else to sell it. They don't have any people, in my opinion, that they're just like, yo, this sells. They don't have them. I love the UFC, but like there's not enough name value not booked to do it without Izzy, in my opinion.
Who would
I mean,
Dustin fight?
just to argue that UFC 259, I believe, did have three title fights and a shitload of names on it. Like it wasn't just Izzy, and then plus the whole fucking champion versus champion thing kind of sells it as well.
It was indeed 3 title fights. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It was the new Amanda fought on it and Eljo fought Peter on it. All right,
Islam on
so
that
I'm
hoe
gonna
too.
squash this one. We went 20 minutes on basically 2 scratching or Bennett's. Jorge Masvidal says he's unretired. Scratching or bet it, he fights inside the UFC in 2024. I will start. I scratch it, but I do think he fights in 2024.
Scratch it.
Bet.
I agree with you though. I think he's boxing.
Me too, or bare
He's
knuckle
never
boxing.
fighting in the UFC again.
Oh,
Uh,
Jeremy Stevens.
Was
Dead
it
Pig.
boxing? There's no way he's
Can I-
doing it.
Although before the Colby fight, he did sign a big UFC contract, so who knows?
Hold on. Dead Pig's down there. Ain't been on the mic yet. Dead Pigs, get after it.
CapMA.com, people. Go to the website. No ads, no scams, no clickbait, none of that. Pay for wash. Just go to the website, check it out. Check out the YouTube page, CapMA.com. It's all the same name. Check it out. Check it out on YouTube. Check out the website. Fuck with us. But yeah, in terms of Jorge Masvidal, was he released from his contract, or did he just retire?
No, he retired, but they let people do the bare knuckle thing. And I think Jorge could cash a bag to bare knuckle, and I think he's itching to do it. You got Mike Perry over there. Eddie Alvarez is fighting up. He wants to fight again. He's itching to. Eddie Alvarez lost to Mike Perry, and he's like, "No, I want to do it again right now." So like, I feel like they're building something over there, and Jorge wants to be part of it. That's how he came up. That's just my gut feeling. You're gonna see all this shit on USADA. He got tested. This is what you're gonna see running through all the headlines soon, is that he got tested 5 times by USADA last year. He got tested in the first 3 quarters 5 times, or the first 2 quarters 5 times, and one of them probably only came after his last fight and very shortly after his last fight. So he's not, I don't think he's what you would say in the pool, because I would assume he's been out of the pool for at least 6 months. Connor J.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to head to BKFC. I don't know why he would come back to the UFC unless it's like for a huge fight. Like he just can't beat top competition anymore. Oh god, my bad.
Okay, but in the spirit of Brock Lesnar, and I didn't write this one, but scratch it or bet it, Jorge Masvidal is going to fight on UFC 300.
That's scratch.
I'm betting it.
Scratch it.
I'm betting
Scratch
it.
that.
Fuck it.
Scratch.
I'd bet it. I'm with Rhino just because I can't see him going to
Really?
Fight Week.
I can't see the BKFC. I don't know. I mean, I get where Joe's coming from, going back to his roots and all, but I just feel like he's such a high draw. I don't think the UFC would actually let him. It's not a Chad Mendes, type of guy.
Wait, Dead. Who would it be against though? Realistically, I mean,
Mike Perry.
Bro, they will give him millions of
Anybody?
dollars to bare knuckle fight
Anybody?
Mike Perry.
If he
Chad
went
He has a
Colby,
bare
Mendes.
knuckle
he ain't doing no
promotion.
bare knuckle. He ain't doing bare But if he knuckle. went to the UFC, I could see Colby. I could see Colby.
yes,
Get
see
Colby
Colby
out of there.
too.
Get him out of there, bro. It's such a shit show.
Rhino, you think he? Hold on. Rhino ain't been on the mic all night. Rhino, you think he?
I think.
You think he makes
Yeah,
300?
he makes 300 and he can fight tons of people. I don't even think anybody would give a shit. They would just love that he was there.
You think he fights Nate Diaz on UFC 300?
It wouldn't surprise me. They both would love the
Me
money.
neither, because
They'd put on a hell of a show.
Nate's posting about it. Jorge's posted officially unretired. Dustin wants on 300 too, bro. Between the three of them,
Something's gonna happen.
any two of them is a massive fight. Any two of them is a massive fight.
Right, and you got to get the casuals to come watch it too, and that would make them happy and shit.
Oh, and they will tune the
Yeah,
fuck
that
in.
guy.
I'm gonna pass it to Alien because I haven't seen him on the mic. I don't know who went up first, but I haven't seen him on the mic yet tonight. So Alien, go ahead.
Appreciate it, bro. I'll keep it quick. Nah, man, I could definitely see George being on 300 or International Fight Week, but I think this is kind of crazy. But I think with the pictures of Nick Diaz looking so healthy recently, I wouldn't call it too crazy to see Nick versus George. I think the story is there already. 300's got to be a spectacle, and without championship fights making it a spectacle, I think that's an easy fight you can throw on there to get people instantly attracted to it, just because it's kind of fucking crazy. But I guess that's.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna list a couple. Connor, Colby. I think they could do Colby just to give him an extra win. Or fucking try to give Masvidal his revenge. Colby fucking didn't take any damage in that last fight, basically. Um, yeah, I was just gonna list off some names.
Yeah, Colby is probably him versus Colby's probably a big sell, but I don't think that would make it to 300. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't think it would make it. Connor J, and then just pass it to somebody else with their hand up when you're done, bro.
I think the most likely scenario is he probably does go to BKFC. He could fight anybody, like you guys are saying, for 300 or whatever event, and all those names, except for they would probably pit him against Nick Diaz, even though that's disgusting. But yeah, he could fight any of those dudes. But him versus Perry, him versus Eddie Alvarez and BKFC, I think is probably just those are bigger fights in my opinion.
Bro, him
Because
versus Mike Perry and BKFC sells 1 million pay-per-views. I guarantee.
that's what I'm saying. Those are also more intriguing because he has a way better chance of winning that fight than he does against. Not Nick and Nate aside, but him versus Colby again. Bro, come on. That first fight was atrocious. He just did not fight well. He looked older, and him versus Burns too. He looked so old. I don't think that he should be back in MMA. I think he should do something that he hasn't done before, like BKFC.
Me too.
But do
Average.
we
Go ahead, Usman.
do we
If
think
it,
that they'll let him out of his UFC contract?
No,
I said that
they
already.
didn't have to let Chad Mendez out of his contract. They just let him be KFC. He's still under contract MMA with the UFC. He said it. He said I didn't even get a new contract. I'm still under such a shitty contract. I will never fight MMA again. That's why Chad Mendez retired. He had a shitty long-term contract that he probably got from Joe Silva, and they wouldn't renegotiate him because he was older and his generation had kind of passed by the time he wanted to come back. He wasn't that old, but his name value was older, and they didn't want to renegotiate with him, but they did let him go to
Well, he got
BKFC and stay
screwed
under
for
UFC
the
contract.
cream on his leg, and he also had good money coming in from his hunting and fishing stuff that he does on the side.
Oh yeah, he makes good money. He's
Yeah.
got a few successful businesses. Chad Mendez is he's the role for what you should do when you're only making 50 and 50 as a fighter, bro. He built himself a small little fortune. He did well. Average.
So, just on the whole Jorge returning to the UFC thing, someone asked Dustin Poirier on Twitter, I believe today, if he was fighting Nate, and he said that fight ain't happening. So, I'm gonna put my little conspiratorial hat on for a second. Are they trying to make Nate versus Jorge happen, or is Nate just not fighting at all?
Nate's not under contract, so it would be not only Nate. It would be not only Nate making 300. It would be him renegotiating with the UFC and having time for camp, which is most likely and fucking possible. So that's why he didn't make the scratch it or bet it list. We don't even got to talk about the duck because I only want to spend about 5 more minutes on scratch it or bet it. But Umar Nurmagomedov gets a title shot by 2024. Scratch it or bet it. He should.
Scratch.
He should. I'm
Scratch
just
it.
asking if he will.
He
Scratch. I
won't
don't
fight
like
enough.
him.
Scratch, I said last time he's got that Magomed Ankalaev curse. He ain't gonna make it to the Corey Sandhagen fight, and then he's gonna fight somebody like the winner of Bautista and Ricky Simone, and just get pushed to the back of the line.
Yep, I agree with you. Actually, I agree. He's just gonna drift off. So here's one man that kind of was. Man, it was kind of a joke before, I guess. Like we were all kind of giggling, not giggling, but and like I don't even feel like we were disrespectful about it, to be honest. But we all just had a clear view on it. But last scratch it or better of the night. Cody Garbrandt becomes a UFC champion again before he retires. Scratch it or bet it.
Scratch.
I
Scratch.
Scratch it.
I'm gonna bet it, and
Scratch.
if I could bet Cody Garbrandt to be the champion in January, can I bet that for him to be the champion in January
No,
2025?
give me the money.
What
Give me
weight
the money.
class? You're talking about bantamweight?
Bantamweight,
Give
obviously.
me the money.
Yeah,
I got
bro.
a
If he
better
knocks
bet
out
for it.
Davison, listen, Sean O'Malley doesn't sell like he says he does, but Cody Garbrandt does still sell, and even Dana has been vocal about that. So if Cody Garbrandt can knock out Davison or however it said Figueiredo, I think he goes straight to a title shot.
The
I
thing is,
really fucking do. Rhino, were you saying something and I cut you off before I start throwing hands, bro?
Yeah, I said give me your bet money so I can use it on a good bet.
All right, bro. I'm just saying, I've called more unlikely shit and it's happened.
What is
Average.
it? Call you the
the thing
Alex
is,
Jones
the
of
thing is with
MMA?
that, the thing is with that, the competition is better now than it was when Cody was on the come up to become a champion. So I just think I just don't see him. He might get a couple ranked win again, but I don't think he'd get anywhere near becoming champion again because the competition's just
Well,
far
I
better.
also think that he has to do a lot more. He's going to have to. He can't just get that fight that top just because he moved up and Figgy moved up. So now that's going to just make him to the top title contention. He's got to go on a streak, and that's going to be kind of tough with contention today. Kind of like you're saying, Aaron.
No, Sean O'Malley's going to duck a lot of people up top, bro, and that's going to give him room to fight people down below.
Well, he can't
He's
duck
got
a lot of
several
people
people
if he
he will
wants to
duck.
be the superstar he wants to be.
Oh, he will duck them. You fucking watch. You fucking watch him duck Marab. He is never fighting that man. Connor J.
Yeah, I don't think I would scratch the hell out of that. I don't think that he's gonna even get close. I don't think he's gonna beat Davison. Although if he does, I think that's a good win. But that's not gonna get him a title shot. I don't think. And then I think Sean O'Malley beats him. So I don't think even if he does get to the title shot, I don't think he would win it. Yeah, I just don't think that he's. I think he's like looked good recently, but he's fighting like not great competition, and he's like 32. He's not super young anymore,
Yeah,
and
but
his
he's
street
going to
fight.
fight Cheeto for the belt, not Sean.
I still think Cheeto. You think Cody beats Cheeto?
Yeah, I think he could, man, and I like Cheeto. Cody's a
I don't.
better
I think
fighter than
Cheeto
he's
beats
getting
him.
credit for. I've been a Cody Garbrandt hater for a long time, but I think he's a better fighter than he's getting credit for. Young boy.
Yo, so
I don't have anything to say on this, but I'm gonna pass it to my buddy Khabib. He's gonna answer for you guys. Here you go. Brother, one man can only have one peak. There is no way that a man can be at the peak for 2 times.
That is
One man
incorrect,
cannot have
sir.
this.
Robbie
That is,
Lawler.
Peak form twice. That's what
no,
he
that
said.
is
He said a
incorrect.
man can only have one peak. He already was like that one night that he beat Dominic Cruz. He looked like the fucking best in the world. I don't think he gets there again. He's not gonna beat
What?
Davidson. No way in fucking hell he beats him.
What's your friend's name?
Usman.
Yeah, I was gonna
Bro, I put
say
him on the speaker. I put him on the
let's
phone.
lap this shit, man. Y'all guys are talking about Cody Garbrandt, who was getting his leg chewed off by a 93-year-old Brian Kelleher off of neck surgery and a fucking rat tail. Stop it.
All
Stop
right,
it.
hater.
Stop
All
it.
right. Quickly, I suppose. Wait a minute. What's happening here? Why is this all fucked up? Oh man.
Usman, he's a tough guy. Why don't you like him?
Yo, I'm
Oh,
crying.
Dog lover.
I like Cody Garbrandt. I do.
All
It's
right.
just
So
like you're
anybody
talking
going
about
to the
title
site?
shot.
Anybody going to the site? It says it's not secure right now. Fuck, I gotta fix that in the morning. The certs run out every year, bro. Then you gotta go back and redo them. And I fucking forgot. So I'll do them in the morning. You can still go. There's no ads. There's no spam.
No
Anyways,
viruses either, boys. It's just a warning. So I'm on the site. You can see it. We're all good.
yeah, our live fucking rankings won't work until I fix it, though. God damn it. Live in the fucking space, they
Did you
don't
just
count.
throw something?
I'm so pissed right now. Okay. Anyways, I got the show road. I don't need them rankings. Well, I guess I kind of do. All right, UFC rankings. So why is there movement in the rankings right now? Can anybody tell me?
It's the end of
Boredom.
the year
For
and the
shits and
marketing
giggles.
team came in.
All right, because Royval dropped to number 3, but nobody above there says they moved up, right? I believe Amir Albazi moved up to 2. It says Sean Strickland moved up to number 7 pound for pound, and O'Malley moved down to number 8. So he gets credit for the Drakus crowd fight then? I'm just trying to make sense of it. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
Joe, you can't make sense of the rankings, bro.
Bro, like now I'm feeling
Dude,
like
you'll give yourself a migraine doing it, man.
it's so fucking stupid. Like
I know.
Shavkat, they switched Shavkat and Colby Covington around in 5 and 3, which makes sense. I don't know. Whatever. Alonzo Metafield moved up 2. Dominic Reyes pulled out, or he moved down 1, probably because he pulled out of his. Oh no, he didn't. His opponent did. He's gonna get knocked out by somebody else.
No, it got
Carlos
rescheduled.
Esparza
It got rescheduled.
officially rescheduled
Yeah, they're moving it to
March.
Yeah, Atlantic City card, I
yeah,
believe.
Atlantic
Yes.
City. Thank you.
Yeah, I heard that's only rumored. I didn't hear that was official. Has that even?
It may not be official, but it's definitely a strong rumor. I don't remember who posted it though. I wish I remembered.
I heard it this morning. I don't remember where I heard it either. All right, so real quick, they're not like fight announcements, but they are. Connor's fighting Mike, says 185, International Fight Week, June 29th. The bigger thing, like fuck Connor, International Fight Week, June 29th, badass. Fucking happy about that. Got no complaints there.
Why are they doing it at the end of June?
And
I
why
don't
fuck
know.
Connor? Why'd you say fuck Connor?
Like I go to International Fight Week every year, bro. I've been to 3 Connor fights, and I'm not being funny. I'm really not a Connor fan, but I go to International Fight Week. I did go to see Nate Diaz choke him out, and I rooted for him to knock Floyd Mayweather out. I didn't really think he could do it, but I rooted for him then. And then I was rooting against him in the Dustin fight. I bet against his ass in the casino next door to the arena before I walked in. Um, So, like, I just don't want to see his punk ass fight no more, bro. Like, I'm fucking tired of Conor fuck ass McGregor, bro. I only seen John Jones once. Let me see him again. Average.
Yeah, I'm with you. Fuck that piece of shit. And I call complete bullshit on this 185 thing. I think it's complete bullshit. I think that 185 thing is complete. I mean, he's slimmer than what he was when he was fat as fucking on the jugs, man. I think it's going to be at 170. I think Michael Chandler, although I like the dude, he's acting like a little bitch, just sitting there waiting on and hanging on every single word that Conor McGregor says. When are we gonna fight? When are we gonna? I mean, he was waiting. He was on a call with Brett Okamoto when the announcement happened. Man, the fuck up.
Damn, Average. Coming with some fucking heat tonight, bro. I love it.
Yes, he is. I ain't mad at it either. So we already talked about Leon announced he's on 300. Dominic Reyes and Allberg is off because Allberg pulled out, which sucks. Big Marcel was not there, but the other guy who, man, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I feel like a dick because I try to give the credit. But he said that he referenced like him and Marcel had spoke, and he referenced Luke versus Brady in a open chat thing. So it seems like that's probably legit. Them boys don't usually break any fights or mention any fights that don't happen. So I would assume that Luke is getting a Sean Brady fight. Just like I said, just because I believe in them guys over there, and I don't think they even BS about it unless they feel confident about it. Caitlin Vieira versus Macy Shazan is canceled. Ketlin pulled. Yana Santos, or Yana Kutinskaya, as some of you may still call her or remember her, versus Norma Dumont is canceled because Yana pulled. All right, so hot topics. I've got about 10 of them. Andrew, you got anything you want to get off before we get into these topics?
Nope, nothing I have that I need to get off my chest.
All right.
Guys, was Mike
So,
Khabib really that bad?
yeah,
What?
it's horrible.
Yes,
It's horrible.
brother.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's bad.
brother.
Wait,
I'll
what'd
work
you
on
say?
it.
What's your
I
question,
asked
young boy?
I asked if Mike Khabib was really that bad, and they all said yes. So I'll work on it.
Wait, that was you?
Oh, and that was
I thought you
supposed to
just
be
said
Khabib.
I know, bro. I know. I'm sorry. I know you thought it was Khabib. I'm
I thought it
sorry.
was just a
Not
homeless
Here's the
guy on
best
the
part.
side of the
We're
street.
not. Here's the best part. None of us are confident whether Andrew actually thinks that was his buddy or if YB is getting spammed by Andrew and still answering. Neither one of us, any of us, know. We're just laughing about it.
Wait, hold the fuck on. Am I known as like the group chat idiot or something here?
No, because
No, that's me.
I resent that statement.
No, he just asked you to
Everyone knows
come
that's
out
me.
for everybody, and you said you didn't have anything.
All
Man.
right. So here's one. Nina Drama. Did anybody see her big news, fake news, big bullshit news?
Yeah, that
I saw all
bullshit.
of her bikini pictures that she's been posting. Those are really nice.
With her unibrow and Paulo Costa face?
I'm not all over that face, boy. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's horrible. We
But
don't
yes, I
talk like
did
that
see
in
that,
here.
and that was really stupid that she did
So
that. I don't know why she trolled the whole community.
I know that, like, I'm not the only person to say it or think it, and someone articulated it well in a comment over on the MMA Zone, but this is, I think it was the MMA Zone. It could have been, one of the 19 other channels I watched that I can't remember right now, but, MMA Talk. But someone basically said that this is Dana manipulating the media. So The UFC and MMA still to this day doesn't have real coverage like NFL, MLB, NHL. There's no integrity to it because there's, like, if I'm being honest, the big outlets are all very anti UFC. All of them. It's not like Dana's just being a whiny, crying bitch. No one ever reports anything from a good angle that the UFC does in the big media. It's very, very, very hard to find them say that the UFC did something good. You'll see them say they did it, but you'll never hear them say it was a good decision. So Dana's trying to balance it by hiring social media influencers who don't have the integrity to ask questions. So, it's Dana doesn't want the questions, which we deserve to. We deserve journalists that'll ask hard questions, and we deserve to have them answered. But they do fucking misquote Dana. They do paraphrase Dana a lot, and it's like, I understand his side, and I'm not just being a mark. I get why he's just trying to find people that will be positive about his company. But it is media manipulation. And as a right Republican, Dana White should have a strong opinion about not manipulating the media, especially with all the shit that he talks about the news and reporters and media. I don't know. It's a very weird slope for him. Andrew, go ahead.
So, it's actually funny that you bring that up because this brings up a question, Dana White has kind of been aging. I don't know if anyone else has noticed. In my opinion, he has. Um, I think in the next 10 years, he's on his way out. So here's the question with that in mind and stuff like that. And obviously there's still a lot of negative perception about MMA because of, everything that's allowed, you know what I mean? Like with the freedom of speech and, people being able to like do other things provocatively and stuff like that. Like there's no restrictions basically, right? When Dana leaves, do they go corporate like the NFL, like the NBA? Do they start disallowing all those things and start fining people and stuff like that to try to attract more viewership? Or do you think they try to continue keeping it the way it always has been, which is just
They
like
can't make it. They'd
raw?
have to
You know
have
what I
a
mean?
whole union type of thing like they do with all nonprofit organizations with all of the big four. NFL, NBA, they all have their a nonprofit organization that runs all of the leagues. That's why the privately owned things are the teams. So to do that, you'd have to get way more regulations, and the sport's too fucked up to try to make something like that. That would be crazy.
Yeah, so I feel like you will see strongly model the Vince McMahon effect of WWE, meaning that I got a very good contrast. And I want to give credit. George, I don't know his last name, but over on the Ton Addict show, he does the MMA Conspiracy Hour. And I tuned into them talking about the possible TKO acquisition because I'm very interested in it, and not many people are talking about it. I was talking about it last week. They did a video a couple days ago. I didn't post it or anything. I don't actually know the source other than Dana White denying it before anybody fucking ever heard about it. So he made a really good reference that I was like, man, he fucking hit that on the head. TKO is very valuable to a company like Endeavor because their library is basically the Muhammad Ali library. I keep saying TKO because of Endeavor. It's God damn it, what is the boxing that they're gonna buy? I was talking about it. It is TKO boxing, right?
Top Rank.
Top Rank. My bad, bro. I was reading I got all the stock shit in front of me and I walked away for a second. Top Rank. So Top Rank, um, Top Rank has no underlings. Artem, they never, Artem never passed it on. He never trained anybody under him. There's nobody there to keep it what it is, to train the next group of people to keep it what it is. And I don't think he referenced this, but if you look at like Vince McMahon and the WWE, even though they're a publicly traded company, even though they are full corporate at this point, like he trained his kids for years, and now his kids will have 20 or 25 years, and they have been already training the people under them. And like, you might think, well, Dana's only got his crew. No, they already have people under them. The UFC and what they do is actually, it's got to become ingrained and part of Endeavor's model, because Endeavor, TKO, they want to be a talent agency. They put on fights with their talent. They are not actually looking to facilitate a league. I know that might sound so stupid when you're like, no, they own the UFC. They do, but they bought the UFC because the UFC already functions the way it does, and they can control the talent. They want the UFC to keep doing what it does so they can control the talent. I rambled too long on that one. Usman had his hand up. You want to
Hey,
get
but
it?
that was fact, Joe. That's the reality of this fucking sport.
It is. It is. Usman, did you want to get it?
Uh, yeah, what were we talking about? MMA media and MMA journalism or some shit like that.
Nah, bro, you fucking, you falling asleep over there?
Bro, kick this dude. What the fuck?
YB, get after it, bro.
Man, I actually support having outside media because he's kind of handpicking it, which is cool for me because there's so many fucking people. I've said it so many times, but I keep seeing it every fucking day. Like, people just rag on the UFC 24/7. If there was no UFC, you'd have nothing to fucking rag about. Shut the fuck up. There's so much of it all the time. Ariel, dude, Ariel, bro, anytime anything happens, Ariel's right there. If I was the leader of the UFC, bro, what are you talking about? He said that shit like last week for I can't remember, censoring Colby Covington. Like, what are you talking about? That's where a lot of people would like to steer the company, and I can see that one day. I hope we never get there. That's why Dana is, he changed his whole life just to live longer to keep that shit from happening. God bless America. God bless Dana White.
All right. We were talking about Dana controlling the media, so it just kind of rolled off from there. I will say this, and I haven't posted it, and I've skipped it, and I've thought about getting after it a few times, but I really like New York Rick, and I got a good relationship with him. Ariel Hawani sports washes for PFL. Not in a way that he's hiding evil government, but they're a shitty company with shitty policies. They did pay Ngannou all that money because they think he's worth it. They paid all that money to take him from the UFC. And anybody who doesn't see that's a fucking idiot. That Don Davis said out of his own mouth, Bellator has a way better talent pool than PFL. This is a big upgrade for us. He raised money to buy them. Like, he's a shitty person. He removed fighter options and he offers shittier contracts than Bellator does. Like, whatever. He's a fucking piece of shit. But Ariel Hawani is, PFL is a great company and I love these guys, and like, whatever. He fucking sports washes for them. So he's part of the fucking problem, to be honest. He can't be in the UFC, which for bullshit reasons, but he's turned all of MMAfighting.com fucking into a machine to bitch about the UFC. Okay, so Tyron Woodley has now leaked a sex tape. Bro, he was just on some media thing the other day saying, I offered GSP and Nick Diaz a dumb bag to fight me. I'm talking like damn near 8 figures. Tyron Woodley ain't got no motherfucking $10 million to pay GSP to fight him. And if GSP wanted to fight, he would headline a UFC pay-per-view and get points. and pull way more than $10 million fucking dollars, in my opinion. That man is uber famous. Tyron Woodley is chasing fame, and I feel bad for him. He is now has a leaked sex tape. If you've seen it, you're probably kind of gay for looking that up. I have not, and I'm good with that. Average, go ahead.
I laughed when I read about the whole GSP Nick Diaz thing, because what actually happened is when he won. I think it's when he was referring to when he won the title. He was begging to fight GSP. He was begging to fight Nick Diaz. He was like, "I've earned this. I've earned that. Give me a money fight. Give me a money fight." And it fell on deaf ears. He didn't offer nobody nothing. He was begging.
You might be right. I can't really argue with that. I had come up with the theory that Jake Paul told him, if you can get either one of them guys, I'll pay $10 million for that shit. But Dana White's not letting them dudes out from under contract anyway. It doesn't fucking matter. You're probably right, Average. You're probably right. Yep, I think you are. I'm gonna just say that you had a better read on that than I did. I think. Yeah, fuck him. So Gilbert Burns has revealed that he thinks that the Sean Strickland and DDP beef is real. Um, he said basically that Sean told him, like, I can't stand this motherfucker. But so it's probably going to go down or whatever, but I will let you and your family know before anything happens. So he thinks it's real. He thinks Sean really hates that son of a bitch. Talking about Sean, he recently cried on the Theo Von podcast. I don't know. This man, his coach was talking
What were they
about,
talking about? Just like his childhood or some shit? I didn't watch it.
yeah, his childhood just came up, bro, and Sean said something about the things his dad used to do or something, and then Theo kind of tried to move on, and you could hear Sean crying, and Theo's like, "Man, I'm sorry. We don't have to talk. I'll just sit here with you for a minute." And Sean was like, "Man, fuck, I'm sorry," and then it's just an audio. I didn't see the video. I'm sure it's on a video because they did a video together, but I heard the audio.
Yeah.
Dead Pics, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard that during the little audio clip that he's like he cracked during when he said that he questioned if God was like real or not or some shit, like something along those lines. So I was thinking, I'm not trying to read too deep into this, like, so I'm not trying to be like, oh, okay, so this is gonna break him against DDP, but yeah, I'm fucking just thinking, all right, hopefully, he doesn't. This is not him breaking. This is just him, just probably coming back to Christianity or Catholicism or whatever. But I hope he doesn't fucking crack, man.
Wow.
Because I saw where you were going with this.
What's got to be
I saw where
cracking
you were
is
going
going to
with
be
this,
he's just too into this fame.
No,
And he doesn't know how to handle it.
Well,
man.
yeah, and
That's
his coach is trying to keep him on track right now. Says he's basically in a rage, and he doesn't want him going out there and fucking up the fight.
Yeah, well, it's just he's
Because
trying
he's so
too hard,
angry.
and now he's kind of getting overwhelmed because now he's getting a lot of views, and his stardom is definitely getting control of him for dang sure. Because I've watched a few clips of him where he definitely goes off on some intense topics. I mean, when you watch his after fight questions, he yaks into all the random stuff. And I think in the past, he was trying to be funny. He was kind of using it as a character to grow fan base. But now that he's popular and now that he looks as he's a role model, he's starting to give like all kinds of random advice all over the place, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. Maybe do that when you retire. Right now, just talk about how much of a badass you want to beat everybody up. Is my opinion to it, but I think it's overwhelming him, and that's why he's kind of making himself kind of look like a clown now because he's crying on camera and he's starting to talk to people about God and things like that. And it's like, dude, know your place. If you're a comedian, you don't give everybody, tips on new biology exams going on. You get to your fucking real fight, and that's what you are. So hopefully it doesn't get in his head, but the more and more closer, and if we see this, I'll be hoping that DDP becomes more of a dog.
Fair enough. Usman.
Nah, I told y'all last week. I fucking told y'all DDP is gonna get into his head. Not only that, you see him fucking putting out that message of like women or wives and children shouldn't be talked about, and now fucking Ian Gary of all people is talking shit to him on fucking social media. I even saw a fucking clip about all of his face-offs in between fights and shit, and he's always happy-go-lucky, fucking joking around, not looking at the fighter, looking at the
Yeah, I was gonna
camera
say,
and
doesn't
shit.
look at him.
You
And
think his wife
now,
posted that from Gary's account from her phone or his phone?
I was
no,
just gonna
that
say.
was the wife. She posted it from her phone with through his account. But also the fucking face off between him and DDP. He's like all heated, trying to get up in his face. I think Rhino's right. The fame is fucking getting to him, man, and it's getting in his head.
It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue. Dad, you had your hand up, bro. You want to get it?
No, I already won.
Oh, my bad, bro. I just lit it back up. Connor.
Give it a Connor.
Yeah, I saw on the timeline. There's actually a video from that podcast, and Sean is like super shaken up. I don't know why. Like, he's obviously not dealing with whatever childhood trauma he went through. Like, well, if he's just breaking down like that on a podcast with Theo Vaughn of all people, he just like needs to get some help. If like one like a dude like Drick is bringing it up like that and it's still bothering him, like he just yeah. I think that I'm not one to like play armchair quarterback and think about this dude is in this guy's head or whatever, but it is obviously really bothering him what Drick has said. So he's got to get that under control, or Drick is probably going to roll through him.
Or he's going to really hurt Dracus. Or we're going to see him really beat the fuck out of that guy.
I don't know how often it is where someone fights with so much anger like that, where they actually come out with the dub. You know.
So there's stories of guys that used to have to get angry. Like that's how some people function. I don't know how he functions. So I got two things about it. I seen someone online, or maybe one of the videos I was listening to quoted it. I don't know who said it, but someone else said that Sean Strickland only talks shit about decisions other people have made to them, about their own decisions, and he does not talk about any things that happened to them that were out of their control. And he said that someone pointed it out to him in the comment, the guy in the comment. He said, and if that's true, it's going to change how I look at Sean Strickland. And I don't know how true that is, but what I will say is, there might be some moral split to what he does, but he pushes it so far that not everybody else is going to be able to see that line or read that line. I personally think that Sean talked about it in the media. I'm just some dumb kid from the ghetto, whatever. But I personally think that Sean talked about it in the media because he was afraid that it would surface out of his control because he was becoming famous. Because if you have somebody that hates you like that, or someone that despises you like that, when you are at the peak of your stardom and your fame and what is supposed to be the happiest moment of your life, those type of people will gladly pick up a phone and call TMZ. So I would assume that he probably didn't want to have to talk about it. He probably talked about it out of fear that it would be painted in some type of other way. Also, there's a video going around of Sean sparring. It's resurfacing. He's sparring
The boxer?
Robin. Yeah, the 15-0 Robin Safar, cruiserweight, big guy. And I remember that it surfaced before because everybody laughed at him. I remember earlier this year, everybody was like, look at him. What the fuck is he doing? For the record, he was piecing that dude up, looking funny when he did it. And he stepped in the octagon after that and beat the shit out of Israel. Beat the shit out of Israel Adesanya with that same exact style. So,
I was like, I'm not touching this.
The line has dropped. Like Drakus is at like plus 105 right now. I think he started at plus 140.
Don't tempt me. I'll fucking bet Sean at dog money, bro. Don't fucking tempt me.
bro, Sean is not. Sean is the dog?
I'm about
105
to look
at
it up
fucking
right now.
for DDP, bro. If he's 105, bro, that means that people are
DDP
getting
is
closer to
No,
betting
105.
him.
plus one.
That's what I'm
DDP is
saying.
plus 105.
He's getting closer to favorite. That's what I'm saying. You said he opened at what, plus 140? He's down to plus 105. Dog, he's getting closer to fucking favorites. So fucking Sean becomes a fucking dog, bro. Don't tempt me.
Now,
Don't fucking
Sean's
tempt
even
me.
at minus 125 right now. So he ain't becoming no dog by this fight in 2 weeks.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying it
People see
won't
something
happen.
stupid.
I'm not saying that you can't, that he's going to win or anything like that, but I don't think a line is going to go minus 125 is just going to drop all the way to that and turn him into a dog. That would be crazy.
All right, so I got one for everybody. While talking to Rampage Jackson on whatever, bro, I don't know the name of all these fucking podcasts. On another fucking fighting podcast by someone. Gilbert Burns said that he trained with Francis Ngannou. He was actually kind of talking Francis up, saying Francis was a nice guy and all this stuff. And he says he fucked Francis's arm up in training, and the training had to stop. And he said he felt it pop. He said, "Oh, I felt it pop. I felt it in my hands. I felt it pop." And then he pulled away. I couldn't. I actually went and found the video. I couldn't find a timeline. I can't tell if he's talking. It's clear that he's talking somewhat recently, but I can't tell if he's talking before or after the Tyson Fury fight. But man, that could be a big deal for a dude that's trying to become the boxing heavyweight champion of the world.
Not if he gets it fixed.
He won't have time. If he wants to get the fights that he wants to get, he has to take them right now. He's not going to get the Tyson Fury rematch unless he can beat one of the big guys. He's going to get the Anthony Josh match, maybe, if he plays ball with Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn ain't just going to roll over and fucking give him $10-20 million to lose money. Eddie Hearn is not that guy. Eddie Hearn is a fucking businessman, and he makes money. And he has pretty much said it's if the I can't remember what the stipulation is, but it's if Fury or Usyk win, and then they have to relinquish their IBF belt. Otherwise, Anthony Joshua will fight. He'll take the Francis Ngannou fight, and I can't remember the name he said. It might have been something Johnson, but he like shortly thereafter cited that if that doesn't work out quickly, they already have the next guy that Anthony Joshua is going to fight. So Francis wants to fight in the boxing world and make the money with this group of guys. This group of guys is moving around quickly right now. They're all at the end. They're not at the beginning. So Francis isn't going to have a choice. He won't have time to get that arm fixed, in my opinion. I didn't feel like he looked very active in the Tyson Fury fight with his hands, not as active as I expected. So
So you said it was his arm, right? You said he heard a pop, meaning like you think
Felt
it's
it.
a fracture.
No, like maybe some type of tear
Dislocation.
from a dislocation. Like
Okay,
like I would think a tear from a dislocation, and if it's anything near the elbow, that's going to greatly affect punching power and your ability to. It's gonna affect a lot of things. So
but how long do you think it would take to get that fixed? Because you said this has already happened in the past, right? So what if he just took care of it right away and kept it under the wraps?
that I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but so when I heard it, I actually what I'm saying is I didn't think that it's a current thing. When I heard him say it, what came to mind to me was that's why I thought I thought Francis looked inactive against Tyson Fury. I thought he could have been more active. I know people are like, "Oh, he didn't want to get countered." No, I thought Francis looked inactive, and I know he's getting old, but Francis is really fast with punching speed for a guy that big, and I didn't feel like he displayed it like I expected him to. I still think he won that fight. I think he beat Tyson Fury, and boxing is rigged. But I don't know. I thought we would see much more out of Francis Ngannou. Whatever. Maybe I'm fucking crazy. All right. I had to walk in and turn my kid's TV on for him, so I walked away.
I did watch that fight, and yeah, I could see what you mean by saying he's inactive. You know, he doesn't necessarily look like he's in the best of shape, and he was a little bit slow. But I will say because of that, his cardio probably wasn't on top of it either. Not to mention, he's never boxed for what did they go what?
Dumb. And it came out that his biggest bag from them, I think, is like $9 million or something, if I recall. So I highly doubt that that's the situation. I just thought we could all laugh at the fact that
Sean O'Malley is dumb.
yeah, he's dumb as fuck sometimes, dude. Like he does that Sean and Timbo or whatever it's called show. Bro, sometimes the shit he says, I'm like, this guy, like, what the
Don't
fucking
smoke weed, kid.
Yeah, like develop some brain cells
No,
first,
hell
but
no, 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 no! Don't you fucking dare put weed in that. Nope, nope.
listen,
Don't
not
do it.
everybody can smoke weed, bro. I smoke it a lot. You smoke it a lot. We function. Not everybody can.
Bro, he's not dumb because he smokes weed. He's dumb because he's just fucking dumb. Not all people are smart people.
No,
And
he's
and not
dumb.
to mention, he's
You
just
think
he's young. He's young, so he's incredibly immature right now.
I'm young, bro, and I don't even. Oh yeah, he's rich and famous, but still, it's fucking different, bro. Like, dude, I've been smoking since like fucking high school, like early fucking high school. This guy's obviously fucking like I don't know. Joe's right, bro. Not everyone can handle the fucking weed, dog. This
No.
guy's fucking.
What I think is that
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley doesn't have like a good agent, and they're just trying to be stupid kids, coming up with entertainment just out of their ass. And they really need to start hiring some people to tell them how to run their shows and how to really make their character and stuff like that, because he just makes an ass out of himself and then tries to act like he's still super cool. And that is what a big problem he is. And he has an opportunity here. I think Sean O'Malley could be a huge star, but he's just got to stop the stupid crap that he's doing, turning himself into a cock with an open relationship type of shit. Even if you had that, you shouldn't have told anybody.
Do you know how much money he's making?
He's making lots of money. He can make way more.
Cuck money.
Like, this guy doesn't need to fight again, and he would still make a shitload of money. Like
I
he's
actually don't think that
Doesn't
is
mean
as
he's got.
true.
Doesn't mean he's got
Listen,
brains inside that head.
I don't think that's as true as it's played up to be, bro. So that was on the docket today. Aljo was talking about how that's not the biggest check he got. He was talking about that's not even the most pay-per-views he sold on a card as he was on as a champ. He said it was a good payday. He said, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. It wasn't nothing like I thought it would be. He basically said that, and I know he can't reveal the numbers. He'll get in a lot of trouble, and they have to show them to him because he's probably paid points on it. But he basically said the numbers. Sean O'Malley doesn't sell like he makes you feel like he sells, and he said I've gotten bigger checks from the UFC.
No, I'm saying outside of the UFC, the money that he now makes outside of fighting the things that he's doing outside of fighting.
What is he doing? Can you tell me?
He's doing podcasts. He's investing in shit like that. I mean, he's gonna make money, bro. He gets money from his podcast, from his views online.
From streaming, I believe
Yeah.
he owns like
Yeah, he
two.
does Twitch and stuff like that, I think.
I believe he owns two
He
like
said he owned Game No
apartment
More.
buildings.
He has a clothing line, and they're pretty nice clothes, to be honest
Oh,
with
then
you.
that
I
means
mean,
he is
he
hiring
does
all
it. He
kinds of
does a
people to
shitload of
follow his shit.
commercials as well.
Yeah, that means
Listen.
he's got somebody really giving him some business advice if he's opening all kinds of companies.
Yeah, but listen, it takes money to support those companies. They're
Oh,
not
hell
all
yeah.
making out of the fucking gate. They're not all making a bag. So what he's doing is spending all his money. So what he needs to be able to do is facilitate more money coming in until those things take off. When fighters or athletes go broke, most of the time, it's not because they blew their money. Most of the time, it's because they invested in some shit and it didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
You hear that story more times than you hear, oh yeah, I snorted it all up my nose. Unless it's the WWE, and them guys all made enough money that they couldn't snort it all up their nose. So unless it's them fucking guys from the 80s and the 90s, bro, most of the stories you hear are, I invested in this and that and this and that, and nothing took off, and my real estate took a dump, and it was all I had left, so I had to sell it cheap. And like, those are the stories you hear a lot.
It's hard being a high valued celebrities and things like big fighters. It's also what you buy. You end up having to maintain it after, and when your income starts coming down, then you're completely screwed because you're getting fight pay, in the millions or in all that stuff. So when it changes in your value or what crap, like you're talking about investments, but as soon as you don't have that inflow of money that you have to completely keep on doing, that's the reason why these actors still do acting even though they're like fucking 75, because they do have so much stuff they have to pay for still because they have to live that life. So, and then once they go into retire and what they're going to hand off and everything like that, it's just a whole different market. Rich people money is something none of these guys understand at all.
None of them. Usman.
Yeah, so I put my hand up quick with this one because I had done just a little bit of research, and I had done this before too. But I'm always willing to hate on Sean O'Malley. I'm always willing to back up Aljamain Sterling. I've liked Aljamain Sterling for a while too, because anybody that beats up Peter Yan is my friend. But
Don't start.
when it comes to this, it's like I can't take Aljamain Sterling's word for fucking shit at all. So I kind of actually want to back up Sean O'Malley in the sense of like when Cejudo versus O'Malley happened, the first thing I saw was $54 million in pay per view revenue. The math at 79.99 that put it almost right underneath 700,000. Whether that be legit numbers or not, Eric Albarracin, Cejudo's coach, came out and said, "Yeah, Aljo should be thanking Cejudo for selling 700,000." Then Aljo came out and said, "Stop lying. We're lucky to even break 250." Then Cejudo comes out after the fucking O'Malley fight and saying that they are barely breaking 300. And then Aljo went ahead. I got the screenshots too because I wanted to look into this. Aljo was more than willing to throw it back in O'Malley's face when O'Malley asked him how many pay per views did he and Cejudo did. He said just about 700,000. So it's like you're willing to talk shit on the 700,000, whether it be true or not, to go against Cejudo, but then also to hype yourself up against O'Malley. You're gonna say that that 700,000 was real. Um, I'm not taking any fucking thing that Aljamain Sterling for saying about this as as truth at all. So honestly, don't even know how much it did. I tried to look up to see how much O'Malley versus Aljamain did, so that we can at least get those guesstimates. But didn't find nothing.
You know what else is weird? If you go look at the so it's up to date. Like UFC 260 something or 250 something is on here. Like it's up to date. If you go look up the top 100 pay-per-views of all time in the UFC, the numbers go down all the way into 175,000, right? Sean O'Malley's name is nowhere on the list. He's never had a pay-per-view that reported more than 175,000 pay-per-view sales. They can say whatever bullshit they want, but he's never had one that reported more than 175. So I don't usually listen to any of that bullshit they're saying because I fucking know better.
Are you talking about pay-per-views he's headlined?
Yeah.
Dude, how many has he actually headlined?
One.
One?
Is that really all he's headlined?
Yeah.
One.
Well, it
Yeah, because
didn't
he's
break
always an opener.
175.
He always likes to open cards.
Well, it didn't break 175.
Even when he fought Jan, like that was his biggest like high-profile fight at the
That
time.
was the feature.
And yeah, he wasn't main then. I think the Alja fight was his first like main event.
That's
Yep.
badass. He didn't break 175. I don't know. He doesn't sell shit.
That's pretty surprising, assuming it's true.
Yeah, I could send you the fucking list. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm looking at the list right now. I started scrolling down. I'm like, well, maybe they didn't put in the apostrophe. I'm like, oh, let me just search Malley with no. Oh, dude's not on this list. He's not here. I don't know.
Joe said he's not impressed.
Like, yeah, it's Tapology's list. They keep a list of all the reported pay-per-view sales. Ranked. If you just type it in, they're like in Google, top UFC pay-per-views of all time, PPV all time. It'll be like the fourth or fifth one down.
I did read that recently. He used to.
And all I'm saying is like 269 was 2 years ago, so maybe it's not completely up to date.
All right, maybe he sold 800,000. He's a boss. I doubt it.
Like
Sorry.
they disclosed that though, because like 285 sold what 800,000, and we found out about it.
So I don't know, man. I guess I just really feel like Sean O'Malley's fan base doesn't buy pay-per-views, bro. We've talked
Yeah, I
about
said
it.
this the other day. They're 9 years
Yeah,
old,
we
dude. They
talked
can't.
about
They
it.
don't know how to pay per views.
My kids stream Sean O'Malley fights. I literally have it upstairs on the TV. They could just come watch it. I paid for it. I have it on a fucking 65-inch fucking TV. They could watch it, right? No, bro. They stream it to their phone. Like, they don't.
Yeah, bro. Average is not. He's not lying, bro. He's onto some shit, bro. Like, I mean, his fan base is like made up of like majority like young guys that do not pay for the fights. Like if you're a hardcore like Sean O'Malley fan, like in like our age probably, but I doubt it, bro.
So here's what I figured out a long time ago, right? Like if you're internet famous, if you're like he's a gamer, Twitcher, right? All that. I said Twitcher. I don't know if that's a thing. You can laugh at me, but whatever they call themselves, right?
I got
It's
Parkinson's or
got to be
something, like a twitching and shit.
fuck off. But he does the Twitch gaming and he does all that shit, right? Those are all people that are actively on the internet. Many, many, many of them actively on computers, not just on their video game internet. I will just say that when you're young and on the internet, you figure out how to not pay for any fucking thing. So, like, it just doesn't make sense that his fan base. It just doesn't make sense that his fan base buys a lot of stuff. Like, I don't. It doesn't.
Well, they follow
I
him, and
think
that's
that.
all he wants. He don't give a shit if they start watching the sport.
Yeah, fuck them. I agree. Fuck the UFC. It's not his job to promote them. It's their job to promote him. All right, so we got a couple of good topics that probably close the night out. I was just shooting all of the smaller ones down. So we talked about it last week. Joe Rogan made a comment basically saying fighters that are
not fighting in the UFC are wasting their careers, that they're not getting the exposure that they could that will benefit them outside of the cage when their career is over and things like that. I personally agree with him. I wouldn't say wasting their career, like that's a shitty statement, but I would say they're not getting the most out of their career. Some fighters, some people agreed with him. Sean O'Malley agreed with him, if I recall. Some people didn't, but Corey Anderson took to social media and said, "I love my guy Joe. I spent 7 years in the UFC. I was number 4 in the organization. Fans seeing me fight wasn't enough to pay my bills or even begin to set my family up for a future. My wife and I both had to have jobs to keep afloat in between fights until my first fight in Bellator." So here's what I would say. Corey Anderson had a super shitty contract and not good management, and that's a shitty story for a lot of fighters and a lot of boxers. The than that, but um, maybe these fighters don't realize that companies like Bellator and PFL will overpay for the number 4 UFC fighter because it takes him from the UFC. They're paying to try and take that fighter's shine. Whatever the PFL gives Francis Ngannou, what Francis Ngannou doesn't understand is you became a star in the UFC. Of course, the UFC is benefiting from having you, but you became a star there. Um, the UFC needs to grow your star because that's their model, right? Until you get knocked out a couple times, and then you can retire or you're going to give it back to the sport. When companies like the PFL and Bellator give you a huge bag because you're a top 5 UFC fighter, um, they're trying to take your shine. They're not trying to solidify who you are as a fighter. They're trying to solidify who they are as an organization. PFL isn't saying, now look what we're going to do for Francis Ngannou. You've never heard them say it. You've never heard them say, wait until you see what's coming up for Francis. We're going to get him the best opponent. We're going to promote it for a year. You've never heard them say any of that. That's not what you've heard them say. You've heard them say, we gave Francis this. He's going to do this for us. They're trying to buy that shine. So, like, I do feel like Corey Anderson should have got way more money than he was getting. I think if you break inside the UFC top 15, that it should be a minimum 100 grand win show per fight. I think if you break into the UFC top 10, you should be making $250,000 a fight. Be some minimums. Like these should be if you're the dumbest motherfucker with no manager, and that's not to insult fighters, just if you don't have any representation, you should get these numbers. But man, I don't think that people appreciate that these guys are trying to buy that shine. Usman, go ahead.
Man, everybody hates him, but Ali Abdelaziz said it the best. You want $1 million, you take yourself to PFL. You want 1 million followers, you take yourself to UFC. And nowadays, fucking followers make you money, man. We're talking about that Sean O'Malley shit and the many avenues he has for fucking making money. He's on ads and shit. He's got his streaming. He's got different businesses here and there. How that works out for him in the end, well, that will be up to him. But the UFC sets you up if you're good enough, if you have enough rub to push yourself for them to push you. I mean, those 1 million followers are going to make you millions of dollars eventually. And like you're saying, once you get that big, Corey Anderson was good. He was a good fighter. It's also not his fault that every time he stepped up to the very top, he fucking stumbled. But he should honestly be grateful to the UFC that they gave him a big enough name to where the Bellator was like, I was gonna say the BFL. The Bellator was able to fucking throw a big ass fucking chunk of change at him and want him there. And even there, he did a good ass job. He should have fucking beaten Nemkov when that fight happened. But once again, he stumbled. He stumbled at the top, and that's nobody's fault except his. And sucks to suck, but you got your big money to fucking go and fight for another company now, and that's all because of the platform that the UFC gave you.
Well, and not to mention that the UFC, who has PIs and doctors, and they're trying to develop the science that we all think magically fucking exists in a laboratory somewhere, even though we we don't know of any place that ever fucking created it. Like we think the Olympic Center is a PI or something, and it's not even fucking close to that. Um, and they released Corey Anderson because they were worried about his brain trauma. Um, that's real. And the company like Bellator, who like I liked Belly. I'm not trying to talk shit. They were like, "Oh man, the UFC says you can't fight no more, huh? How much are they paying you to fight? What if I give you 3 times that?" Like it's not like Bellator was looking out for Corey Anderson by giving him a bag to come fight when real doctors had said, "Man, there's something going on inside your brain and you probably should stop." I mean, he's fought, he's fine, whatever. I don't wish any harm on him. I'm just saying, like, it's not like I don't know. It's again, it kind of just feels like it solidifies my point. Corey didn't actually even go get like a bunch of double opinions from the story I seen. He went and got one other opinion, and the Bellator was like, "Yep, good enough for us." But what the fuck do I know? Andrew, go ahead and then pass it off to Daniel, who just hopped in. Good to see you, Daniel.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on Usman's statement. I like what he said about Ali. That quote was actually pretty clever, but it actually made me think. I think when you have the choice to go to PFL to attempt to win the million, I just think it's two different lifestyles, right? I think the reason why a lot of fighters in the UFC are very unhappy about what they get paid is because all they want to do is fight. They don't want to have to do the other things. Like Sean O'Malley realized, okay, you're giving me a platform. So why don't I use that platform outside of fighting so I can gain even more revenue? So you can get more out of what, like, exactly like who you are and the value of who you are. And I think some people just want to fight. They don't want to be famous. They don't want followers. They don't want to have to do all that extra work and
But they want
promoting and investing. They just want to fight, right? I think the PFL is a good option for that because let's be real. A massive majority of fighters who've fought in the UFC don't make $1 million. Obviously, only one fighter per division gets it, but $1 million is a lot of money. And if you invest correctly, you could definitely set your families up. So I just think it's a matter of lifestyle and what kind of lifestyle these fighters want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but my thing is like that guy you're talking about. Um, you're a prize fighter, bro. You're a prize fighter. You don't want to do all that other shit, but you want to be paid like you do. Um,
And you better knock a bunch of people out so everybody knows your fucking name.
yeah, like that's what I mean. Then you've got to Mike Tyson. You've got to be so fucking impressive that people just can't stop talking about you. It's a risk you take by by choosing that path. And the other thing is like we've been talking about like I've kind of been mentioning the deceitfulness of some of these other companies, right? Here's a very, very, very good thing to explain to people. If you win PFL, you get $1 million, right? So let me ask Usman. On the night that you knock out the motherfucker to win the tournament championship, you go home and the next day you get a deposit in your bank account. How much you expect that deposit to be?
It's going to be well. They expect to get $1 million, but the agents have already broken that down for them. They're probably getting more around like 540,000.
Yeah,
Oh,
that sounds
I'll do
about
you
right.
I'll do you one better, bro. So, and I don't know how this wasn't made a big deal by the media. I do because it's not the UFC, right? And Anthony Pettis said this. So they were paying Anthony like 300, 480,000 a fight or some shit, right? Like they were paying him a fat bag. And it's 3 fights, right? So what he explained was the third fight was only worth like 150 grand because it's $1 million total if you win that tournament. So if you come in on a fat contract and you're making 250 grand to fight for PFL, hell yeah, I got my worth and I'm going to win this $1 million. Well, I mean, you did get your money. You got paid, right? You only get to fight 3 times per year. And if you lose, you only get to fight 1 time per year or however the fuck it works.
Uh, un,
Um,
unlike Jose Pinheiro or whoever the fuck that guy was who won the 145 champion, that guy was 100%. Okay, I don't know 100%. 96% getting paid 12 and 12
Dude,
for
he probably
each
still lives with
fight.
his mom. Let's be real.
yeah, so
But
his
that's what I'm
check
saying. He
was like
was
$1
getting
million
12 and
bucks.
12, and yeah, now he got because his fucking purse was so shitty. His check at the end of the night was probably like $874,000.
I'll do you one better than that, bro. PFL don't pay 12 and 12 to their tournament fighters. You know what they pay them if they don't have a name value?
5.
3 and
Yeah,
3. It's 3 and 3. And I
somewhere.
can prove it. It's 3 and 3.
Yeah, I've seen reports about that.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
fucking
lower.
3 and 3. Daniel, bro, you've been waiting. Get after it, bud. Good to have you.
Yes, how y'all doing? So, yes, I'm gonna answer all those with a visual aid. You talking about give a man a platform, use it. That's like, okay, my house is being invaded. You give me a gun, I'm gonna use a gun. I mean, just common sense. And Dana White has said this before too. Fighting is not your life. It's only part of your life. That's why one of my favorite fighters of all time was Shane Carwin. He did both fighting and his chemical engineering all at the same time. So it's like it's all you're right. Some people use it for followers, and that gets you paid. I mean, look at the people on YouTube. You're paid. They get paid to play video games, to watch people play video games. It's just all about the platform. Because believe me, you could easily get fired from that just as a regular job. Believe me, I've seen it. I seen one moron like mock these people in Mandarin, and he got blocked and banned, and fired and shit, and so on and so forth. But as for the PFL, hell yes. I mean, $1 million freaking dollars. They're not. It's not false advertisement. PFL means that explicitly, and I can name 2 fighters that are retired now with $1 million. So the first one who left the OC was Sean, the real OC O'Connell. That man was already getting paid in 2 different ways. He was the commentator for PFL, and he was fighting. Hell, he was commentating on the fight. He won his $1 million. He won by knockout. And he said, "I'm retiring, guys. This is it. I got $1 million. I'm retiring." Second fighter, who was the runner-up for Team Canada. Shit, I can't say his last name, but the Canadian gangster. Not only did he won twice. That's 2 million. If I was that man, I would have retired like that too. 2 million.
Yeah, that sounds great and all, Daniel. But when you look at most of the people on the card are making 3 to 12 grand to fight, and PFL has. Let's be clear, PFL has had a large ESPN contract for $1 million. Yeah, but if you don't get the $1 million, bro, you got beat up on ESPN for 3 grand and sent home to go be a fucking plumber. Like it's not a grand thing that they're doing. Like it is, you can win $1 million, and dudes like OAM, it's great for them. And I've said this because it was free. It was free for OAM with the competition he had to go over there and get that money. The problem was everybody else over there had to be walked on because it was clear that he was getting the money. So, like, I don't know. They tried to do it with Burgos too. Bring over a name that has good value, that's never been discredited, that's on his way to the top. We'll give him $1 million. We'll build our whole season off his name. And I mean, and OAM did it. I'm sure they made more than $1 million off OAM. I'm sure they did. But
Okay, well, let me end it with this. It would, regardless of the name, it's still worth the risk. I mean, he wasn't the only person who, because think about it, Sean O'Connell. He was, his name was lesser than OAM, and he still made it. My final statement
okay,
is it's
okay.
still worth the
Here's what I'll
risk.
say. We all know who OAM is,
Yes,
right? Tell me 3 dudes he beat in PFL.
they were unknowns.
Jackie.
Oh.
Nah, I don't even think that's fair because when you look at that 155 division, I think that's the only division where people were actually getting paid. Like Chris Wade, I would assume he was getting paid a good 75 fight purse. The Schultes, I mean, he's
Bubba
built up a name
Jenkins.
within PFL, so he's probably getting a little bit of cash as well. Like at least that 155 division, they weren't getting completely stepped on, but it's not like you're 100% right about Burgos fucking coming straight in from the UFC, and they said, "Fuck it, give him 250,000 per fight." That Schulte guy that has won the championship and has made a name for himself here in the PFL, he can stay with that 75. Let's fucking pay Burgos as much as we can so that he can get stepped on.
Listen, the more money PFL is paying you to fight in that tournament, the more they favor you. Meaning because they only want to have to give that $1 million out to one person. So if they're giving you $250,000 and then they're giving you $250,000 and then they got to give a fucking $1 million to another guy, that's not actually what their model is. So the more they pay you, the more they favor you to win the tournament. That is a clear model. So like when Anthony Pettis came in at 400,000 or whatever it was, I mean, like it was almost worthless for him to take the third fight. And he said that on record. But when you looked at the division at the time, you really thought Anthony Pettis was about to go in there and smack all them fucking
I
people.
didn't.
You
I
you
had
really
Clay
thought it
Collard
was
beating his
possible.
ass, and he did.
A lot of people really thought he was going to go in there. He didn't go in the UFC after getting beat up real bad a whole bunch of times, or he didn't leave the UFC after getting beat up real bad a whole bunch of times. People really thought Anthony could go in and get it. Yeah, that it's just I don't know. It's a clear tell by them. Anyway, so I got a couple more things on the docket here, but we're probably not going to get to all of them. Let me see. Let me pick one here. So I'm trying to gray them out. Talking about because the Eljo thing. I wanted to let the betters in here know that Eljo is having a very hard time. So if you follow him, this isn't like just one little interview. If you follow Eljo admitted that he was having a very hard time getting back into fight mode after the O'Malley fight. He was also very open about drinking and smoking every day for 9 weeks after the fight, and getting up to over 180 pounds and having a hard time getting the weight off. And now he has been talking about how camp is kicking his ass, how the weight is carrying heavy on him, how he's finding himself getting tired sometimes at the end of a second round of the sparring session. Man, Eljo is painting a picture. Maybe he's doing it strategically. I know he's one of these internet, I don't know, like these guys fuck with each other on the internet, I guess. But um, Eljo seems to be having a very hard camp. And that, man, we all bet around here. So that matters. And I just kind of stumbled across that when I was just doing all my little fucking lookup shit and whatever. So
I just thought I'd share that with everyone. All right, let's gray out Joe Rogan, Corey Anderson, Fighter Pay, famous people. We'll gray out the UFC pay per view. Another one I had is that. Oh, this one is kind of more just like information, so it'll be easy because we only got 2 left. So UFC has broke their silence about their anti-doping program with DFSI, Drug Free Sports International. The program resembles USADA, but like I said in the group earlier, USADA was understaffed. So one of the and it's even pretty well found out or known later that they were subcontracting DFSI to go collect their samples anyway. That's the biggest thing that the UFC seems to like about DFSI is they have the largest net in the anti-doping game. They call it a net network of testers or people to send out to collect samples. I don't know what those folks' exact term is, but they have the largest network of those people. The program will also feature another company that is funded by the UFC called Combat Sports Anti-Doping, and they will handle all of the cases or any cases of failed testing. So that might sound a little rigged, but I'm going to say that I think it is great for the sport and that companies like USADA and NSAC should have no right to decide the suspensions of fighters and what happens to their careers when these guys are on a limited time frame. We all know what happened to Nick Diaz, and we don't have to open that conversation up. That was decided by some punk ass dude that worked for a state board commission that thought he could make a fucking example of a fighter in his prime. What a dickhead. Um, Nick, shit worked out for him anyway, but what a dickhead. So I think it's great. A company like this will allow for quicker, more thorough investigations and properly assigned suspensions. The UFC is not going to be involved in that company. It is funded by them, but it is ran by a former FBI agent who, I mean, it's been brought. I brought it into question early on when it's found out that he trains an American Top Team. Like, so are you going to show favor to this guy or that guy? But all reports and everything anybody can find seem to seem to show that he's got some integrity. He's popped some cases and he's made the media before, so he's, I don't know, kind of watched or I don't know, kind of has a track record that people are aware of. So that could be good. They are pulling from the WADA supplements list and using their own list called the UFC prohibited list. You can type that into Twitter and hit most recent, and there's several posts with links to it, guys who have broke down parts of it. Um, but they will use a WADA accredited lab, SMRTL, to handle all the actual testing of samples. There's nothing wrong with the facts, so I didn't write them all down. But there's specific compounds that they want to be allowed. They want them to be allowed after injuries. Um, they don't want to restrict every single thing that USADA has under their program. USADA does not allow or did not allow the UFC to come in and say, okay, but because our athletes get hurt, we do a lot of stem cells, which goes along with this, or we do this, or this may happen because we incur way more nose breaks, so we use these painkillers or whatever. And USADA just had no give anywhere. This program will allow I assume the doctors from the PI and other places to chime in and say, hey, this is beneficial. At this level, it is okay. It is non-performance enhancing. Hey, we want to allow this level of this now because he just had a broken leg, but we would, in this case, when you retest him after whatever time frame, the levels should have dropped. Like, it will allow for much more fair treatment of the fighters.
And the 6 month in the pool test thing will still stand, except for probably when you're new to the UFC, and none of that seems to matter anyways. I don't know. I'm a nerd about fighting. I fucking care about all that. I really like all that stuff. I think it's all really cool. So, whatever. And then the last one that I have, which is a conversation piece, is the MMA media. This is this won't be too hot of a topic, but I do want some opinions. So the MMA big media, and I will reference Ariel Helwani, Ellen Joban, Damon Martin, Paul Felder, several others, are all complaining about champ fights. They're all referencing that UFC fighters should be dominant and reign over the division longer, and that the champ thing needs to be more special. These are also the same people who want fighters, MMA fighters, to be paid like top tier boxers, who typically fight over several weight divisions and hold several titles and fight in several multi-promotional titles they hold as well. Um, a lot of these media guys are pro cross promotion and pro everything else that tears down the UFC being a monopoly, right? Like, I don't even have to say they're anti-UFC, just like everything that tears down the monopoly. But they want fighters to not be able, they want it to be more difficult for fighters to champ. Like, it's fucking stupid. It's not even a complete thought. If you want more of a boxing model, the first thing that comes is fighter freedom and fighter rights to which matches they get. And being a champion at 145 definitely should get you the opportunity for a title fight at 155. To me, this solidifies that we need more weight divisions. Especially, as you get higher. I don't think we need to do 5 pounds or anything like that, like 145, 150, 155, or the 3 pound shit that they do in boxing. Like, I don't think we need to do all that, but I think that 165, 175, 185, 195, 205, I know that might be a little harder for them to fill the rosters. Might make them look like a little less of a monopoly, but I just feel like it would free some of that up and give the fighters more freedom to get big fights and make big money. And I don't know. I just think it's weird that a big media that is so pro boxing model for the UFC fighters has a problem with champ. I think it was Average, then Connor. Average, go ahead.
Wait, so you're all for the fighters jumping up in weight whenever they want?
If you have the belt, yes, you should be able to, as long as you have defended in scheduled time, which is supposed to be twice a year. It's really only supposed to be once a year. Like, it's very well known that UFC fighters champions only have to defend once a year to hold their belt, right? So if you can fight twice a year, if you want to go up, or if you want to go up in champ and then say, hey, I'm going to stay here, I don't see a problem with it. I also like interim titles. I think I like seeing them all over the place. So
So you don't think that Islam Makhachev, who hasn't defended against an actual lightweight, wanting to go up isn't ridiculous?
Yeah, okay, so like we put all this bullshit on it, and because he hasn't defended against this or because he hasn't done that. So where's the fucking list of what they have to do then? Like, tell me the list. What do they have to
No,
have 5 title defenses? Do they have to beat all top 3 contenders? Like, what do they have to do to be able to say I'm the fucking champion at 155 and I want to go up?
it just makes it makes the story of them going up a lot better. No, like when Volk moved up, it was like, well, there's literally no one left at 45 for him right now. No one at 45 wants to be active either, so let's
And then
bump him up.
but then he lost twice. If he would have not fought Max Holloway 18 fucking times and went up when he was supposed to, he probably would have had some success at 155.
I'm
But
not
because he
doubting
wasted
it.
his prime fighting Max Holloway 19 fucking times, he got beat at 155. You can say, he won the first fight. Okay, he got screwed and then got a chance to run it back and got beat the fuck up. It's I'm not even dogging Volk at all, I promise. I'm just saying, like, Volk that fought Max Holloway the second time is much different fighter than the guy that fought Islam. And I think that the guy who fought Max the second time was a much better fighter than the dude who fought Islam. So, like, like, that brain is what did him in. How are you supposed to be dominant and be able to go up? Like, you have to pass your prime to go up. Well,
Hey,
now it's becoming impossible.
how about the guys that just want to stick to their divisions? Like John Jones took forever to move up because he wanted to be like Anderson and GSP.
He has that right. He doesn't have to go up. I'm not saying that they should be forced. What I'm saying is when John Jones said, I'm going to heavyweight, they said, all right, you get a title shot. They didn't give him the title shot because Francis left. John was getting the title shot. He was getting that. He had earned it. He was the fucking champion, and he gave the belt back to the division. And people are like, "Oh, he took 3 years off." Dude, he put on 40 fucking pounds of muscle. I don't know if any of you have ever taken even steroids, bro. 40 pounds of muscle is a lot of fucking meat to put on your body. So, like, even after all that time, John Jones came back and got his title shot. Like,
He used to get fucked up before fights too.
yeah, I know. I love it. I've known that for a long time. Bro, so you've never seen, I will stay on topic, but Za, go look up, I believe it is the Alexander Gustafsson 2 press conference, the seasonal press conference before it. And damn, he might have said it to DC. One of these boys will know. But he said, yeah, I beat your ass after
Yeah,
a week on
it was
cocaine.
it was Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, he told him, he was like, Daniel Cormier was like, oh, you're a shitty person, you do cocaine, or whatever the fuck he said. And John was like, yeah, so I beat your ass after a week of cocaine. What's your excuse now, pussy? Or whatever he said. And I was just like, fucking get him, bitch. Anyway, back to the champ thing. Connor J.
Yeah, I actually, I don't agree at all. I completely disagree. I think I value a guy that stays in his division and clears it out much more than a guy that goes up for a champ status, especially right away. Um, I think he brought up either Volk or Max. I don't remember which one to use as an example, but either one of those dudes, like, those dudes created a legacy at 145 defending the belt. And a guy like, let's say Connor, for example, is a champ. He's a 45 and 55, but zero title defenses. Like, Max and Volk having their long reign is much more valuable to, like, an all-time legacy than a guy like Connor just having, like, 2 titles with no title defenses. I think it leads for more structure in the division, which helps the sport. And then when you have a division that has a lot of contenders like welterweight, like a guy like Volk going up to 55 right now made sense, or like when he did, it made sense because he beat a lot of the contenders. But a guy um, like Islam going up, like you have Charles you could rematch, you have Justin you could fight. He's got dudes he can fight. Leon has contenders. If he wanted to go up, that doesn't make sense. So I think that these guys should at least get a couple of these contenders beat before entertaining going up or down to fight for a belt. I just think that that's sort of silly.
Yeah, so, like, the problem that I have with that and the grief that I'm going to give you about that is our nostalgia for their legacy doesn't pay them. It doesn't do anything for them. Mark Coleman and Dan Severn are legends in this game. Them dudes are broke.
Yeah,
I
but
don't mean
that,
broke like
Joe, that's
poor,
not the
but
same as somebody fighting today or 10 years ago. Like, though, there was no money in it back in when Mark Coleman and whatnot was fighting back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like a dude like John Jones or GSP. You could argue that they were stars, but they also became stars because they were dominant champions. You know, like GSP
so the
isn't the
most
most
money
entertaining fighter, but
GSP,
he became a star
the
because he
most
was rattling off wins.
the most money GSP ever got paid in his UFC career was when he went up a weight class. The most money
To
John
be,
Jones ever got paid in his UFC career is when he went up a weight class.
to
But
be
would you
fair,
are you saying that
GSP
they
was
weren't
the
paid?
biggest paper.
Are you saying that they weren't paid a lot throughout their career? Just because they got paid the most when they went up doesn't mean they weren't paid a
No,
lot
John.
throughout their
No,
career.
no. It's came out. It's been fully disclosed. John Jones was making $3 and $4 million a fight. John Jones had a Nike endorsement, for Christ's sake.
Right.
John Jones has
So
made a
that's what
lot
I'm
of
saying
money.
then. That's what I'm saying then.
John,
So like just because that their highest paid was when they went up doesn't mean that they're not getting paid a decent
but
amount during their run.
what I'm saying is the nostalgia, because see, like, you don't have problems like this in boxing because it is so old. There's 100 years of boxing. You can't. Your nostalgia is somebody else's. Like, boy, that wasn't even a long time ago. Back before them guys, the nostalgia can't be. It can't. It can't go back to like what we can. We have 30 years of this, right? Like, we want dominant. We want another and like you referenced it. You proved my point. GSP, Anderson Silva, John Jones. That's great, bro. But them dudes got paid the most money they ever got paid when they went up. This is prize
So
fighting. Like, at the end of the day, the UFC is a company. If you're super pro UFC and you're like, they need to do this for the UFC's record book so the UFC can promote this. Well, great for the UFC, but if Alexander Volkanovski would have fought for the UFC title 3 fights before he did, for the UFC 155-pound title, 3 fights before he did, he probably would have won it. And he would have got to defend it. And those both would have been bigger paychecks than he's going to get defending his 145 title. And even if he did decide, I'm going to be active and I'm going to do 155 and 145 every 6 months each, those paychecks would have grown each time. And if you need proof of becoming a champ is worth a lot of money to them, look at any of them. Look at Amanda Nunes, look at Conor McGregor, even look at Daniel Cormier. Like, their lives changed after they became champs. Their recognition.
Connor was champ, but he never defended any of those belts. So they got a lot of money for those 2 fights. It wasn't as if that he went back and forth
So you
defending
think
both
Conor
belts.
McGregor with only the 145-pound belt sells the Floyd Mayweather fight and makes $200 million without the 155-pound belt? You think
If
that happens?
if let's say Connor chose one of those weight classes, let's say Connor either fought at 45 or 55, it doesn't matter. If he rattled off defenses, he's still the huge draw that he is. It's not as if the double champ status, dude. The belts didn't make Connor. Let's not make that argument.
Yes, they did, because
No,
Conor
No
they
never
kind of
way.
even
did.
Connor was huge
defended
before the
them.
belts. Connor was huge before, especially the double champ. Connor was
So
big before
you're
that.
so you're telling me that if Conor McGregor would have defended the 145-pound title once instead of going and getting the 155-pound title, because that's what it would have been,
Yeah.
one defense,
No,
right?
No
the
way.
2 fights with Nate Diaz also made him a much bigger star.
He
So
was
we
a
can't.
champion when he fought Nate Diaz, though.
Okay, so the Nate Diaz fight and no, the Nate Diaz 2 fight happened later. So the Nate Diaz fight,
Not after the champ. It happened before that.
the
But he was featherweight champion.
the one that he lost, the one that Nate choked his ass out
No, Joe. He fought Nate twice
in a row.
He
Yes.
won the
What weight class?
45 pound belt
He
immediately
won.
went up.
He won
What
the
weight class
featherweight
did he fight
title.
him at?
He won the featherweight title. He went to fight RDA. RDA pulled out. Then he fought Nate. Then he lost and said, "I want to run it back with
At
Nate."
what weight class?
170.
And then what was the rematch at?
170.
170.
So they were not title fights, and he
I
lost.
know that's fine.
He lost to Nate Diaz. Okay, so even with the Nate Diaz fights, bro, there is no way that he gets the Floyd Mayweather fight without the champ. Conor McGregor got the Floyd Mayweather fight because he was the UFC double champ 145, 155.
Can I put this shit to bed already?
Go
I don't
ahead.
agree. I think that he was a
Look,
huge star regardless. I think him knocking out Aldo and having those two big fights with Nate Diaz made him a huge star. I don't think the double
Yeah,
champ, the
Joe's
double champ
right
is like
though.
the
He
icing on the
doesn't.
cake. It wasn't the
Joel is
He
thing that
made
right
like
though.
drove him.
150 million plus from the Floyd Mayweather fight, bro. Staying in the UFC and defending his belt would have been a huge money loss for him. That is my
Connor,
point.
I know. Then Connor is the exception. Then we're not Volkanovski's not going out and fighting Floyd if he defends belts or gets a double champ status. Connor is like the exception to every rule.
Okay, Amanda Nunes.
The only champ to actually defend both.
Daniel Cormier's contract. Daniel Cormier did get $1 million in the dressing room from Dana and Lorenzo, but go listen to him tell the story. Daniel Cormier got beat the fuck up by John Jones for 80 G's, bro. Like 80 grand. He wasn't getting paid. He got like 3.5 million or 3.2 million dollars for the first fight after he was champ. Real life, bro. Them belts fucking matter for their pay. Them
Yep.
belts get
I
them
don't. I'm not saying
pay-per-view
that they don't
points.
matter. I'm saying that they do get paid more when they're champion. I just think that they can still make just because they made the most when they were double champ doesn't mean that they would not. They're still not making a lot of money when they are champion defending the
No,
belts
dude.
Yeah,
more.
but why
The,
do you get
the,
to decide that enough money, a lot of money is enough because you want nostalgia, bro? Like that's not.
I don't have any say in what these fighters do. I'm talking about I'm basing this on my opinion. I don't speak for the company or the fighters. I rather the sport to flow in a nice way where the champs fight a lot of the contenders. The contenders get to fight for the belts and whatnot. I mean, champ fights are cool. It's what and whatnot, but like they happen so often, it kind of loses its luster. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
but the word champion in itself elevates a fighter. Like the reason why they make these titles is to elevate that fighter so they can market them more, so they can make more money. And it's an identifier as a sport, so you can market these guys and people will know who these guys are. That's why you have champions. If you didn't care about the business, there's no point in having a fucking champion. It doesn't make sense. That's why, like, Connor having that second belt, I agree with Joe. It meant everything in the world because he was one of the few to. I don't know if he was the first one to do it. I don't remember,
Simultaneously.
but it means a lot because not many people have done it. And in itself, he was the biggest guy in MMA. So if you could top it off with the, hey, dude, this guy's so dominant in the sport. He's one of the first couple people to win 2 titles. Like that makes him special. That was a selling point. 100%. If he would have defended a title and not gone up, I'm saying him. And you were right. He is the exception. Connor's the exception to everything. But that second belt made every difference for that Floyd fight for sure.
And Connor, you kind of got back into a corner over Connor McGregor and everything as the argument point, bro. Before we shove on from this and before I let Usman try to put it to bed again or whatever, bro, I actually appreciate your opinion, and I'm not like I do. I'm glad that you came in, and I'm glad that you stuck with it, and I'm glad that you didn't bend. But I still think that you're wrong, and it's okay that you think I'm wrong too. Usman, go ahead.
Connor, you know we love you, bro.
No,
look,
I literally love to debate, so I don't ever like getting, in my feels or whatever. I like going back and forth with people, so I enjoy the engagement. But y'all are
look,
both
like I said, let me put this shit to bed. Both of y'all motherfuckers are wrong. Even my goat, Henry Cejudo, got 1,240,000 as a basically fucking flyweight in his last fight against fucking Dominic Cruz. Estimated. You know what? I don't give a fuck about fighter pay. I like my entertainment. These guys get paid great most of the time, especially the ones that make it into championship fights. I don't give a fuck. Fuck double champ status. I'm tired of seeing it. You know what happened when Volkanovski got his fucking title reign and fucking defended his belt a bunch of times and got to move up? It fucked over the lightweight division and we're still dealing with it. And now, thankfully, Islam Makhachev has to fucking want to go ahead and strive for greatness himself after beating a featherweight and go up to fucking 170 pounds and fuck up that division even more. Oh wait, there's a guy named Bilal Muhammad who's on a fucking 10-fight win streak
Wait a
and
minute.
deserves a chance at light at his belt. Fuck that division too. No, double champ
Wait a minute.
No,
status
no,
Wait a
no.
minute.
fucks
Let him
Wait a
cook. He's
minute.
on a
everything.
roll. Let him go.
What is
Double champ status fucks
Usman's cooking right now.
everything,
Usman's
and
cooking.
it continues to fuck everything. What
I
happened
so?
with
mean,
fucking?
It's my turn. How did it fuck up 145?
I didn't say 145. I said 155. He no.
How how did it fuck up 155?
Because we have fucking 7 people waiting in line right now, and nobody's fucking getting to fight.
So
And
he
now,
wait. He got his one shot and he lost. And the UFC said, "Yep, you lost. You gotta go defend your belt. You can't have a rematch." UFC did the right thing. He got a shot. He didn't get it. He wasn't pound for pound, no matter what you guys say. Then all those there's 7 guys waiting for a title fight. How come none of them took the short notice fight? How come Volk had to take it from the 145? Actually, I would say that the 155 pounds inactivity held up the 145-pound division. If I actually had to say that, like where the fuck were all?
right,
So
and
the
they decided
reason
to go with 145. I'm
I
not
hate
saying that
Volk,
it's your fault or anybody's fault. I'm just saying this double champ shit has to fucking stop already.
so actually I hate on Volk, right? But here's what I'm going to say about the way it happened with Volk. I thought it was perfect, and what I mean by that is they let him go up, and they immediately assigned an interim title fight. UFC, at least in effort, attempted to make it so that in unison, if you go up and win, we're going to have this interim champion, and then you can come down and defend, and then you'll have to go back up, and you're going to have to do this. They were trying to set it up so that if he wanted to do it, he was really going to have to do it. Um,
to be
I
fair, they
am
did that with
pro.
McGregor too, but
I am super pro interim titles. I love interim titles. If a champ's only got to fight once a year, that's fucking ridiculous. A champion should have to fight twice a year unless he's injured, right? In my opinion. Um, and when he can't fight twice a year, so 6 months, there should be an interim belt. I'm a firm believer in that shit. I think we should see interim championships all of the time. And then there was a little error where the UFC brought it back, and I was like, fuck yeah. And everybody was like, what is it? What does it mean? It's the Intercontinental Championship. It should be silver. It's shut the fuck up. Nobody's out there saying Izzy had a fake belt. Nobody's out there saying Connor
they're saying Colby did.
nobody's out. Yeah, Colby did because they hate him, but nobody says Izzy had a fake belt,
And you
right?
know what? I was there with you saying, oh, everybody wants to fucking talk about fighter pay, fighter pay, fighter pay. But now everybody's pissed that somebody else has a fucking belt and has an opportunity to make money. Fucking hypocrites. I hate this fandom. I hate the way fucking people think about this shit. Because you know what? You're right. Interim belts, they should fucking be handed out more. But you're 100% right. Fucking 3, 4, 5 years ago, everybody was over here crying about fucking interim belts. And still, when now we're fucking dealing with all this double champ bullshit.
And I
Hey, let's
looked
be
up the
real too,
list.
man. When interim titles are made, they're not made due to inactivity or anything. Like, don't that's a fucking scapegoat. Don't let that shit fool you. Dude, they make interim titles because now you technically have 2 champions and it's a way better marketable thing to show and sell that fight. You have champion versus champion. You don't have the champion versus the contender. No, 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 no. You have the champion versus another champion. And that sounds a hell of a lot better. That is money, boys.
So
That is money.
it does always reflect inactivity. They do it because they can sell, right? And I can't remember them all because it's late, but I've looked up the list and it's posted somewhere on my profile. Bro,
Arlovsky the GOAT.
but the list of champions, legit, like you'd be like, that dude is dominant. The list of champions that had serious reigns and defended their interim belt before they even became champion. Bro, it's insane. It's like Israel Adesanya, Max Holloway. Like, bro, the fucking list is ridiculous. And you'd be like, damn, I didn't even realize all them dudes
Sometimes they
interim.
just make interim titles to sell pay-per-views though.
It's got to be justified by inactivity. Connor J, Daniel, we've had some hands up and I'm rambling. Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with what Usman said. I think that the double champ stuff it just happens too much. I think if it happened not as much, it would be way more like welcomed, I guess. I also I don't mind the idea of interim titles, but I know that you just said that people were defending them. I don't think Izzy did defend his interim title. I think he unified it against Rob, but in between Kelvin and Rob, he didn't. I remember Henan Barrow defended his before he got got named undisputed champion when Dominic Cruz is going to come back. But they just put these on because a champ can't make the fight or they need a title fight on top of the card. So it just kind of seems pointless in a way. But I mean, in terms of fighter pay, yeah, I want fighters to get paid more. So use them in that sense, sure. But I just wish that they would actually let them defend the belt once they win it.
Bro, are you playing with your dog right now?
I am.
Okay, that's what that toy was.
Look, I just like to know that Connor with me 2 times, and we fucking hate each other. So this is a good space tonight, guys.
So the one thing, and I still see you guys there, Daniel and Zab, but
Usman, what's up? Yeah.
So my thing is that I don't. So we're not going to see an environment where the UFC, where MMA becomes like boxing at the UFC, just allowing it. Like the UFC really did grow the sport. We don't have to get into it, but they built a fucking sport. Everybody who's trying to do anything is just trying to take from them at this point, which is fine. Whatever. Fuck it. Right. But to me, they are the sport. They are 80% of the sport, right? So I as a viewer am ready. I love the UFC. I've defended them. I need some of the things I've said tonight and I've said about this topic. I need 145, 155, 165, 175, 185, 195, 205. I wouldn't even mind seeing a split the heavyweight. Well, that division's not deep enough, so I'm not going to go down that wormhole. But I want more divisions, somehow, some way, even if it's 190, so that there can be 175. Right? I want more divisions, and I want more interim champions. If you are the whole sport, boxing has a lot of champions. The belts move a lot. They have a lot of double champions. It's the one thing that is nice about boxing. It's nice to see that a guy has gotten in there and he's fucking championship fight. You get that pay. And then when you unify it or defend it, you get pay-per-view points, just like a champion. So, if you're going to be 80% of the sport, I want more than fucking 8 champions. And I want more than, 3 weight divisions for the women. And what it is 8 for the men, right? I'm fucking 30, 25, 35, 45, 55, 70, 85, 205. Yeah, heavyweight, 8 of them. So I get me to 10 and make it so that I'm seeing 12 champions or 13 champions fighting every year, bro. If you're going to be the sport, I need that. That doesn't make you wrong, and I'm not trying to talk you out of your point. Just I need that as a fan, bro. I've watched the same fucking 8 weight class. I'm over it. I need more.
Joe,
Daniel, go ahead.
you don't think the UFC gets criticized enough for doing Fuck, I lost my point. Oh yeah, you don't think they get criticized enough for being compared to boxing with like the judging scores and stuff? You want them to be more like boxing?
That's why Dana White says they won't do all those weight divisions because he doesn't want to be like boxing.
Yeah, but you know what else would happen? It would help them in their antitrust suit because they wouldn't monopolize all of those divisions right away. It would put them back in market, and it would open up more fighter pay. Like it would help them in the big op, and all the legislation or rules or whatever it is have already been passed for these other weight classes. Daniel, I've been going and going. Go ahead, bro, because I need to. Zaz over there with his hand up too. Go ahead, Daniel.
Well, this is a good freaking space. So I agree. I also disagree with Usman. I think interim belts exist because the champ is injured, so someone has to be the stand-in. Secondly, double. If you want to be a double champ, then put in the work. Put in the freaking work to do that. And also, since we're dropping f bombs,
2 fights, that could be a whole year out. And then to get into that third fight, 18 months later or something, if you feel like you're in your prime. But I would be okay with a stipulation, like a stipulation. Like I would understand, but man, I just feel like I do need more champions, and I do need more weight divisions. Zabets, you fucking waited forever, bro. Get after
You pretty much said what I had to say. It's all good.
it. Because I rambled on a lot. So my bad, bro.
I lost my fucking angle drill, man. I don't know where the fuck I left it. I need that bitch for work. I need to
Your
go
what?
fucking buy a brand new angle drill.
Your what?
An angle drill?
Oh, a drill. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't make it out.
Yeah, I'm pissed right now, man.
Oh shit. So that's the space. Jake Paul said he sent out 2 contracts. Wait to see who the opponent is, but he didn't say who the 2 contracts is. So he probably sent out one, and he's trying to get that guy to sign because it's a cherry pick. So fuck that guy still. All right, so I'll let Andrew get the plugs because I know he's got it worked out for the end of the space. So I'm done. I got no more content, boys. Unless somebody's got something I missed.
Damn, we're done already, huh? This is shocking.
Fuck, I thought we would be done 30 minutes ago, to be honest. I can't believe we went this long.
Damn. Do you want to keep it open or you want to close it up?
No, nobody's got no other topics, bro. I don't see no hands going up. Fucking hit the plugs, and we'll scoot on out of here.
Guys, it's only 11 days until the next fight card. Let's fucking go. I'm pumped. My nipples be hard as a motherfucker. I'm ready to watch some fights.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that it's been a little refreshing though.
Yeah, it was nice to take a little break. Usman, are you guys gonna do a space on Friday? You and Rhino?
Yeah, the plan is to do a space. What it's gonna be on, don't really have a topic at the moment, but we'll figure something out. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a space Friday.
All right.
Yep. So normally our guy Trace does our fight breakdown reviews on Fridays, but because there's been no cards, we haven't been doing them. Usman and Rhino do a space every Sunday, Cash and Trash. But because again there's been no fight cards, we've been doing them on Fridays. Usman just said there will be one this Friday at 7 p.m. West Coast is the best coast, 10 p.m. Eastern for all you East Coast folks. Check it out. You guys know this is open mic. So if you guys ever want to tell us we're wrong, tell us we're stupid, explain your views, hop on in, shoot us a follow. We also have a group chat that anybody can get in. It runs 24/7, so be very careful. It runs. Connor, you got your hand up. What's up, bud?
Yeah, I just want to say, appreciate you guys always having me up. I like going back and debating with you guys. So it's always fun chopping it up with y'all.
We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming out. Joe, do you have anything else?
No, I don't. CapMMA.com, man. When you get there, fuck, for like the next 12 hours, it's gonna say unsecure, but I just got to renew the certs. It's a really cool site. It's all free, good resources, odds board. We are working on some other projects that I will be very excited to announce in the coming weeks, hopefully. So check it out. It helps us a lot, man. We don't make no money or nothing. Just if we could build our traffic, maybe we could get the board sponsored by somebody. It'll say, presented by, not no pop up ads or advertisements or no shit. But if we get a little money flowing for the site, we could do more stuff for the site. So, yep, that's all I got. Oh, YouTube.
And
Go on
yeah,
YouTube, type in
check out
Cap
the YouTube.
MMA.
Check out.
Definitely listen. If you're on YouTube, even if you come in the spaces so you don't need to listen to the content over there, man, give us the subscribe. We're trying to get in their stupid fucking algorithm, however that works. I'm swearing a lot tonight, but man, YouTube, that shit is like, it's very nice for us to be on there, and I love it, but man, it is not an easy place to get traction. So we appreciate any follows on there.
Likes and
Dirty.
comments. Likes and comments in there.
Yeah, I gotta work on some stuff for the YouTube, man. Like I said, I gotta try to find some ways to make it look popping, like to the eye. So, besides that, yeah, if you guys want to see like some face reveals at any point or see like more, content, you guys gotta fuck with us too. You guys gotta show us a little bit of love. So, definitely check out the capmma.com website and check out the YouTube, man. It's a work in progress, but it's for sure, something worthy to follow, So if you like what we're putting out, I highly suggest it. So yeah, thanks for the time, guys, and thanks for rocking with us. And yeah, CaptainMay.com.
Everybody in here is pretty much a regular for the most part, man. Thank all you for coming in here. Everybody that's been in here since the beginning, bro. These spaces go for hours. We appreciate it. And Dirty, I see you down there, man. Dirty was with me on the first show, boys. Like with no Dirty. Dirty and Marin were the reason I was like, yo, I want to just do a different space. I want to break off. And this man of the library and his narratives is going crazy. And I really want to break off and do my own thing. And I was always in his spaces, and so was Dirty and Marin. I probably tell this story every 3 months, and I will until as long as we do this. And Dirty was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And him and Marin were the co-hosts for first little while when Andrew started joining. I think they were still helping me, man. So it was nice to see you in here, Dirty. I was watching you all night, bro. I was gonna be bummed out if you dipped out on me before the show flipped off because I knew it was a good one tonight. Thank you everybody for coming in. Zabeth, you're always here, bro. Connor J, fucking, you've been killing it. Daniel, it's nice to have you boys coming in. All you other dudes in the chat, I love you here. Thank you, boys.
Have a good night, you guys. See you Friday night.